You can't defend yourself on an empty stomach. Eat up.
A wise choice, Domina. Too much food induces sleep, too.
Now that you're back from another war, what do you want to do next?
Precisely. We can't afford to underestimate our opponent at this stage.
Kikero and I will meet you in the Senate tomorrow morning to prepare for the trial.
Speak as if your life depends on it. In many ways, it may.
It is a good day, my friend. I've been thinking. You've done the right thing by not crossing the Rubicon with the Legion. It's bigger than you or me. Our Republic is built on certain pillars. To remove just one such pillar might destroy our society. Callida was a bit preoccupied. She's concerned about Corvinus. You know that sneaky bastard is still unaccounted for. They won't. The Senate is a virtuous and wise institution. They'll see the truth of the matter. Kikero is probably the best advocate in the Republic, and he's the consul. But what do I know? I'm just a soldier. I hope you're right.
What's on your mind? Your cause is just, and I believe we can convince the Senate. However, our opponent is devious. That worries me. I worry that he will not obey the will of the Senate if the result fails to be in his favor. Will you obey the Senate if you lose? Perhaps. But you cannot be the judge of that. If it were not, our Republic would be doomed. Those with the greatest power must be under the most exacting scrutiny. But to answer the question in the spirit I think it was asked, we have Kikero on our side, the second consul. This sort of situation is precisely why there are two. You are my wife. We win or lose as one, and I will stand by on your side no matter what.
You look concerned. Children should never have to worry about their parents. Worry only about yourself. I'll be fine. That monster tore my family apart. Killed my husband and my dearest friend. I just hope they make him suffer. That is a lovely thought, dear. But I'm not sure what he will do if he's no longer our servus. Perhaps he does not want to be a citizen. I don't think so, dear. Somebody needs to run the house, and I need to prepare a feast for our guests. The grand feast we will have when you triumph in front of the Senate.
You should get some rest. Tomorrow's trial will require you to have your wits about you. Those who try to predict the future will only make a laughing stock of themselves. Those who are prepared for all eventualities win in the end. It was not only my duty, but my pleasure as well. Your father made me promise to take care of you, no matter what. Looking at you now, I can only feel pride. I just wish your father were alive to see these days. I've been through much, but I have to admit, these days I feel old. I think I want to see my homeland again. To tell you the truth, I feel like I'm ready to die. It would be nice to see Halicarnassos again first. Thank you.
We will have order in the Senate now! Debating the clarity of the augury will not be productive. The consul himself stands accused. Nothing could be of higher importance. Any other relationes shall be set aside. The result of this relatio again shall be decided per discussionem, and before the sun sets. You may continue, Consul, but please, refrain from delving deeper into matters completely unrelated to our discussion.
Naturally. May I restate the necessity of using my actual title, Dictator, instead of Consul? Do you even know what Dictator in Perpetuo means?
The Domina has a point. Your title was granted for a limited time in order to solve a crisis. Even though the time has not passed, we can certainly say the crisis exists no more.
I beg to differ. The crisis has evidently not passed. It has merely changed context. Allow my colleague Senator Antonius to display with clarity how unprecedented and absurd this relatio is.
Dear Senators, first let us consider the source and the spirit of the regulation that allows us to appoint a consul to the position of dictator. And yet, despite all this, we somehow ended up here accusing the very man who was tasked with the prevention of this crisis.
Thank you, Senator, for this detailed and above all long explanation of something we all knew. Our memories have been thoroughly refreshed. If that will be all, we will finally discuss the evidence presented against the consul. Let us consider the preponderance of indications suggesting your involvement in the Mithridates affair years ago. At the time, you claimed to have no knowledge of your brother's corrupt and treasonous activities. But it is clear now that this wasn't entirely accurate.
I do not like what you're insinuating. My brother died for his crimes, if you remember. Do you mean to say that he was wrongly accused? By your logic, anyone can be guilty of anything.
The Domina has a point. We're not talking about some stranger. This evidence implicates your family, and you were never proven innocent. Do you have a counter-witness, Dictator?
I am the most important counter-witness here. Let me tell you my side of the story. Therefore, you cannot connect my activities to that war. In fact, it is fair to say my alleged relationship with Mithridates was only in the service of Rome.
Somehow, fair wasn't the word that came to mind. Shall we perhaps talk about the infamous invasion of Egypt?
Infamous is the correct word for it. My accuser ignited a war in a land that was already a province of Rome. She brought chaos and terror to Africa. The following unlawful invasion of Egypt caused the extinction of the Ptolemaic dynasty, all in service of unrealistic political ambitions. That was certainly a tragedy, but the Senate knows that was Ptolemy's doing. Indeed, that was the justification for declaring war in the first place.
I don't think either of you has any evidence to back these claims.
This has happened before, Senators. The selfish enemies of our people supporting our foes by undermining honorable people like Vitellius Lurko. I will recount the story for the benefit of the Senate.
Oh, must you? Once again, this was a completely unnecessary digression.
Once more, I must direct your attention to the utter lack of credible witnesses. Neither this legendary ledger nor the fictional accountant who wrote it are anywhere to be seen.
Then explain your presence in Alexandria at the time of the battle. Why would Ptolemy, who at the time was waging war against Rome, be on friendly terms with you?
I was trying to clean up the diplomatic mess created by your legatus.
Interesting how you just tried to cast the Domina as a foe. Despite her natural disadvantages, she was serving Rome at the time, and successfully so, in the end. Let us end by discussing the recent campaign against the barbarians of Gallia. You did kill members of the dictator's Praetorian Guard, didn't you, Legate?
Pray tell, why would my Praetorian Guard attack you?
Indeed, why would one Praetorian Guard attack another? Enlighten us, dictator.
Is that for me to answer? She should answer first.
I see.
I see Senator Antonius has something to add.
Oh, right. I thank you for this opportunity to talk about the history of foreign leaders being represented at the Senate. First of all,
once again, thank you for your detailed explanation of this important issue, Senator. Shall we finally proceed to decide now?
We certainly shall not. The sun has set and a decision was not reached. I believe this relatio is to be declared undecided.
Dictator Lurko is correct, Legate. A decision has to be reached by sunset. And if not, the relatio will be undecided. But in light of the overwhelming and damning evidence against the dictator, I believe this relatio deserves a proper decision. We reconvene tomorrow at sunrise for the final decision. This shall give the dictator a fair chance to defend himself. One final time. This session is at an end.
Let's wait until everyone has left, so we can talk to Kikoro in private.
I admit, I was rooting for you. But you really did defend your case excellently. Tomorrow's hearing will be a formality. You've pretty much won.
Many among the senatorial class feared that you might attempt a coup in response to pressure from Vitellius Lurko. I assured them that my wife would never even consider such a course of action, and of course, you proved me right. However, I want to be certain that you understand the gravity of what you've done. You have murdered the Praetorian Guard of a sitting consul. There may yet be consequences. Neither shame nor regret will increase your chance of clemency.
I think the risks themselves are irrelevant at this point. The Senate has been convinced of Lurko's guilt.
Despite his futile stalling, you've made it clear to everyone that Vitellius Lurko's war in Gallia was nothing but a power grab. It serves no purpose to speculate about his motivations. All that matters is that the Senate has been convinced.
It's best to refrain from mentioning these accusations unless we can prove them. Compared to the level of treason implied, the murder of 2 Romans seems trivial. Should he repeat his accusations of murder, it is my hope to use precisely this argument to shield you from them. What is left for him to do? All legal options are exhausted. His legion is disbanded. Even Wixie is finished. And after today, his support in the Senate is gone.
Yet he remains at large until tomorrow. His lack of options may just make him desperate. I agree. We must stay vigilant.
What do you have there?
Food for the Domina and her friends.
Let me have a taste.
It's for the Domini only.
My Domina does not eat anything until I've tasted it.
Well, all right then.
Delicious.
That's odd. I haven't ordered any food to be brought here.
There is no eating in the Senate.
Oh, excuse me. I feel dizzy all of a sudden. There is an odd taste to this food.
Sit down if you feel unwell.
I can't breathe.
The food was poisoned. Where did that Soma go?
Stay with him. I'll get help.
Armed men have entered the forum.
We brought your weapons.
Old man. He's dead. Lurko. I shall skin your back and lay you on salt. I shall feed your cock to street dogs.
Marlon! Grieve later, Bestia. They're here.
She's still alive. Make sure no one escapes.
do it.
I don't have time for this. Deal with them.
Went black.
Howl like the dog you are.
Cool, or I'll raise one left. Disappointing.
Rational. Judge me kindly.
Corvinus, that honorless piece of shit! He got away.
Your mother is alone. We must hurry. Knowing Corvinus, he will either go there next, or he'll send someone for her.
He's dead.
I'm sorry. He was a good man. My friend. Your mother.
Meet us in the Regia when your family is safe. Our dear Pontifex, Maximus Aurelius Cotta, will be good to have on our side.
We have basically already won. This attack represents a clear legal victory.
Marcus, this is not the time.
Short arrows. The guards were attacked from afar. We may be too late.
They killed everyone. The villa is burning! She sought shelter in the study, just like last time. Most of them already left. There are still 4 in the garden. The consul himself? Certainly not. Should I inform the authorities? I shall run as fast as my legs will take me.
What a sight. How long do you think it'll take to burn down?
It'll burn long into the night, that's for sure.
Should we be worried about it spreading to the adjacent buildings?
Nah, that's not our problem. I'm more concerned about the proprietor showing up to put out the fire.
That uppity bitch has finally got what's coming to her. She already lies dead on the Senate floor.
We really caught those thugs off guard. If they expected mercy, they should not have started fire here.
Your mother is trapped in there. We have to get her out. Use the water from the fountain to douse the flames. Everyone, fill your water jugs from the fountain. We have to keep those flames at bay.
anyone still alive? Help!
thank Juno. Please, get me out of here.
This is all I can do.
We did it! The fire is put out. Come on, let's check on your mother.
Everyone's dead. They had no mercy. They butchered the Serwi. Oh, I am bleeding.
You need help. Get her to a physician.
Of course I can. Everyone must hear about what happened here today.
Did you think they struck her by accident in passing?
Calada. Perhaps they were trying to incapacitate her. Or maybe they were merely incompetent. It's keeping us on the defensive.
We need to regroup and strike back.
Strike two birds with one stone and take her to the Regia. Cato and Cicero are waiting for you there, and the Vestal Virgins can treat Claudiana.
You are alive. Forgive me. We've heard the unthinkable has happened, and Lurko tried to assassinate your family. I could not believe my ears when Cato told me about Lurko's betrayal. This shall not go unpunished.
You will need to come up with a very good reason for doing this.
I'd like to see him try. I shall keep her in the temple. No harm will come to her. You have my word. Of course.
What if he comes back for us? I don't believe anyone close to you is safe.
Your faith is inspiring.
We need to seize the initiative. Corvinus can't be too far away. As long as he's in the wind, we can't be safe.
Maybe, but it'll take some time, and we don't have much to spare.
I know where he is.
Maybe I can ask some of my friends in the Senate. Lurko must have allies, and perhaps some of them know a few things.
Highly unlikely. Chances are not even Lurko knows where that man is.
I know where he is.
An augury might reveal his location.
Will we set a chicken loose in the streets of Rome and hope that it guides us to him? Hardly.
I know where he is.
All right, there's no need to yell.
He is at Campus Martius, hiding with a group of gladiators he has hired. We can go there and get him. These are men I have fought beside in the arena, who looked up to me once. I am certain. What if it is? Do we have a choice? He killed my Magister. I will make no promises. Lucius Serucius Corvinus. We're here
Come out and play.
The entire ensemble is here. I guess you're ready for the final act. I have to admit, I'm impressed. I did not expect you to be able to find this place. This isn't the first time I've underestimated that Belatro. Taking out the old man wasn't my intention. He died in your stead. If anything, I'd say you killed him. Lurko has said that very same thing about you on many occasions. Pay no heed to her words. We work for the consul himself. Vitellius Lurko will ensure that no punishment of any kind will befall us.
We will tear that weasel limb from limb. Then there will be no one to protect you from the law.
I remember you, Tabat. We fought lions together in the arena.
Bestia Tabat. Now, no amount of denarii will make me fight you.
You're on your own, Corvinus.
So weak.
Didn't see that coming, huh?
worry, I'm here.
I'll shoot as soon as I see them. Took my bait.
Get the last one!
I will skin your face and drink from your skull.
A charming notion, but improbable. May I propose a different option?
There are no options. You will die now.
Or we can be sensible about this and keep him alive. He probably knows a lot about Lurko's plans. Besides, Corwinus is a capable and smart warrior. He'd be useful to us. Killing him will serve no purpose.
It will bring me great satisfaction.
Finally, we can stop watching our backs. Corwinus, you are under arrest for the attempted murder of this woman, and the actual murder of her service. You're coming with us. Corwinus is inside. His attitude has become quite a bit more cooperative overnight. He will talk if he survives, meaning if we can restrain Bestia. We all have different ways of dealing with grief. I've sent him away. He's probably drowning his sorrows in wine now. The consul has announced that he wants to question this criminal himself, so I expect him to send some of his lictors our way. We are prepared for them. Always. She was supposed to be here. I don't know what she's doing. At once.
Everything is silent. He whimpers like a wounded dog. But silence is in the air. He tried to lick me. His tongue is, but not all his teeth. He is not worth saving. For now, he is evil. Does not matter if he dies. He deserves eternal torment. Fine.
Well, here we go again. You want to try your hand at torturing me as well? Fair enough. I suppose you have some questions. Ask then. Let's get this over with. For too long, he hired me back when he assumed control of Weeksy. Of course not. Weeksy existed in one form or another for hundreds of years. Felix is only the latest of its commanders. I'm no fanatic, though. He merely hired me as a contingency. I am loyal to my contract. Besides, all of his loyal guards are dead, thanks to you. If I have to choose between loyalty and death, I don't have to ponder my options for long. It's not just money. Lurko is a very intelligent man, and I respect that. He plans ahead, and he rarely leaves things to chance. It is the first serious misstep I have ever seen him make. You have got him powerfully rattled. That's why he will never face you in the Senate. That's why he sent me to assassinate you at last. Not out of any personal animosity. With Marcellus and his useless brutes gone, it was up to me to finish the job. That wasn't me. He hired someone else for that. My job was simply to get rid of you. The consul obviously hoped you'd get yourself killed in Gallia. I guess this was his contingency plan. You of all people should know that warfare is about positioning. Once you can cover any possible move your foe might make, victory is a natural outcome. Merely by trying to win from such a position, your enemy defeats herself. I would not bet on that. Look, I'm getting bored of this. We both know you're not going to kill me, and I've told you all I know. Frankly, none of this is any use to you. For all I know, me getting caught is part of Lurko's plan. So, hand me over to the authorities and let me face charges. Let's see. What do you have to offer? But you're not a wealthy person. Your money will dry up. Your hospitality has been impeccable thus far.
No problem. See you soon.
Did he talk?
That is comforting. I'm glad we have him.
What do we do now?
This is so unlike him. Usually he has a plan. I wonder if the whole Corvinus business was a distraction. Distraction from what?
That could be a benefit of all this, but if you couldn't make him talk...
Not a bad idea at all. The pressure on Lurko is mounting. Every man has a breaking point.
I took precautions. The Consul of Rome cannot leave the city unnoticed. I thought they'd be with you. I haven't seen any of your companions since yesterday.
Come to think of it, Kato wanted to meet us here too. But he's late. He should be here any moment now. Don't worry. Kato is a smart man who knows how to handle a gladius.
There he is.
Your Praetorian Guard is captured in front of the Senate. We must hurry. It seems he has them arrested for a number of crimes.
He is still dictator. He can do whatever he wants.
I fear there is nothing we can do to stop him within the bounds of the law.
Political theater. He has gathered a crowd and he's calling you out. You must be very careful. The lives of your friends are at stake. I'll try to gather some praetores. This is blatantly illegal, but I guess he's finally given up all pretense.
He is desperate. Be very careful. Desperate men do stupid things. I'll come with you to witness the situation.
Keep him occupied until I can bring help. Don't antagonize him.
I will come with you as well. The Vestal Virgins will look after your mother.
Traitor to the Republic! Murderer of Romans! Enemy of the people! I have had your co-conspirators arrested, and they are patiently waiting for their moment of execution. But my own patience is wearing thin. I know villains like you do not have a sense of honor or virtue. Nevertheless, I know you were at least born Roman. If you have a speck of honor left, confess and surrender.
Consul, what are you doing? You can't publicly execute people without trial. Our laws forbid such despotism.
As dictator, prescription is well within my rights. The people of Rome saw fit to grant me that power. Who are you to question the wisdom of the people? As long as Rome remains in crisis, I shall remain dictator. Your traitor friends are rightfully apprehended. If you want them, you'll have to go through me. It clearly isn't. You are still alive, aren't you? You always worked against me, when the only thing I wanted was to build a strong Rome. Just like your father, you are envious of what I will achieve. You have followed my every footstep. Wherever I was trying to accomplish anything, you were there to make sure it all burnt down. If you can't change the history of Rome, you will at least make sure I can't either. It's pathetic. Unless your intention is to bore me to death, I would like to start executing these criminals.
This is horseshit. Those people are heroes.
They've done nothing wrong. Let them go!
You have lost your control, Lurko. Look at the faces of these people, your fellow citizens. They're afraid.
Only criminals and traitors should be afraid of me.
They're afraid of what you have turned the Republic into. That fear will turn into anger the moment anyone decides to stand up and protect the Republic.
You're a good tactician. Consider your position now. Your prisoners are the only advantage you possess. But they're only valuable while they're still alive. The Legatus can wait until you turn yourself into a murderer.
Or we can simply kill you and save them all. Then you will have achieved nothing here.
You wouldn't do that. You're men of law and order.
Do not let us take your vengeance away. Let us die in honor.
Believe me, I don't want to die. But I also don't want to see you dead.
Don't let him kill us like this. Whatever comes next, we will stand by your side. We will weather the storm as one.
Don't do it, my friend. If you strike him down now, you'll give him legitimate cause to kill you. We are not worth that sacrifice. You shall take care of them, and they can be proud of you.
Enough! Make your decision. As you wish. Who shall we take first?
Take me first. If I must die today, I will have it over with.
Don't do it! This isn't justice!
I decide what is just. Execute her.
You limp-dick coward!
Rest well, my second sister. I will find you in the afterlife, and we will hunt together again.
A traitor to the Republic has been brought to justice. I truly wonder what you will do now. I'm a man of my word. Witnesses? Who's going to hold me responsible? I am dictator in perpetuo.
This is sick! It's an atrocity!
What's next? Will you have Pompeius executed too?
Calm yourselves! People of Rome, I am you... Don't you understand? A firm hand is what the Republic needs!
Despot! Tyrant! Down with him!
Get him! Pull him down from there!
Get me out of here! Just get me out!
You're on your own, consul!
Coward!
Webius Vitellius Lurko, you're not going anywhere. Throw yourself at the mercy of the Senate.
You can't do this. You don't have the authority. Don't you dare.
Now that is a style of rhetorics I can get behind.
You won. My friend, you did it.
I'm sure you have a lot to talk about. It is good to see you up and about, though. You look better.
Such things are natural. You've been tested physically and mentally. Furthermore, you've triumphed over your opponent. He has been stripped of his title and office.
It should have been someone else. Deianira had no reason to give her life for Rome.
She didn't. She gave her life for us.
Lurko will certainly be exiled, or even executed. The Senate doesn't have a high opinion of traitors. Obviously, you'll have to testify. There were accusations on both sides. The Senate must hear your side of the story.
If you will forgive me for bringing this up, I believe this will be good for your political career. You should measure yourself against the best of consuls, not the worst. As far as the Senate is concerned, you are a tragic hero who brought a corrupt consul to justice. Your voice is greatly respected now, in all layers of our society.
Cato is right. Both the Optimates and the Populares admire you. And you have won the love of the people as well. Even without an official position, you hold great power in Rome.
I have no doubts.
You did save them. Those who remain alive have you to thank for it. This chapter ends, and another chapter begins. Fortuna alone knows what the future holds.
So ends the abridged history of the most singularly revered woman in the history of Rome. It is thanks to her and her efforts to thwart the corruption and ambition of Vitellius Lurko that Rome remains a proud republic to this day. With her friends gathered around her and her loyal allies working for her in the Senate, she spent the rest of her life addressing the many problems that had plagued the republic since its birth. Her tireless efforts to promote democracy and strengthen the voices of the people greatly improved life throughout the provinces of Rome. In time, the savior of the Republic took her well-deserved place in history among such heroes as Cincinnatus or Scipio Africanus. Cinyros. Once he had been an athlete, a wrestler, and a troublemaker. But in our story, he was a servus, a protector, and a mentor. He had died diligently performing the task to which he had devoted himself, protecting his ward. Cinyros was given a tomb in Rome's finest cemetery, next to his old dominus, whose death had incited this story. Though his death had been unexpected, he met his end with dignity and resolve. He had received forgiveness and, after a fashion, vindication for the mistakes of his youth. He was missed by all those who knew him. Caeso finally seemed to have had his fill of military campaigns. Together with Lucia and their daughter, he settled down in Rome. Though their relationship was distant at first, the shared love they felt for their daughter soon brought them close, and eventually they had many more children together. To his surprise, Caeso took well to the quiet life and to fatherhood. He remained very close with his old friends, with whom he often met to drink and eat and share stories of their old lives as the heroes of the Republic. Callida had been redeemed in the eyes of the law, and so she was able to stay in Rome and remain close to her friends. She settled into her new life surprisingly well, now that she was able to live it on her own terms. She was not in any great hurry to find a husband. Instead, she worked with her brother Aulus, who she forgave for not standing up to their parents. And with her talent for subterfuge and cunning, their family business thrived. Bestia stayed in Rome and remained close friends with his old companions, going out of his way to stay in touch with them all, no matter the distance that separated them. He returned to the arena, but no longer as a gladiator. His new vocation was to teach Pancration, inspired by the story of his old magister Cinyros. Though it brought him little wealth, there is no doubt it made him happy. As soon as things had quieted down, Bestia traveled to Africa once more to look for his sister. He did find her and bring her home, and she lived happily there for the rest of her life. Deianira had given her life for her friends with no hesitation and no fear in her eyes. The Amazon warrior knew that she had avenged her sister and forgiven herself for her misdeeds. She went to the Chinvat Bridge with her head held high, ready to be judged. Claudiana lived for many more years. She had many friends in Rome, and her life was peaceful and comfortable until her final days. On her deathbed, she revealed that she had once been very close indeed with Lucullus, and that indeed the true family name of her children was Liciniia. Cato remained an important figure in Roman politics, staying by his wife's side for the rest of their days. Though they did not always share the same views on matters, he remained her staunchest supporter and a key figure in cementing her influence throughout Roman society. Cicero served one more year as consul before his retirement. In his old days, he lived a quiet life on a farm in Sicily, where he was greatly beloved by the people for his time as quaestor. He continued to write many books on politics and law. Defeated once more by Rome, Mithridates escaped to the lands north of the Black Sea in the hope that he could raise a new army, but the locals soon rebelled against his rule. Incapable of taking his own life by poison, in the end, Mithridates died by the sword of his bodyguard. With Zenobia in charge of Musia, it became once more a peaceful part of the Roman province of Asia Minor. With her focus on trade and strong ties to the neighboring regions, her people enjoyed a period of great prosperity. Without the leadership of Damianos, the rebellion of his gladiators soon spiraled out of control, beginning what became known as the Servile War. Escaped slaves terrorized the Roman citizens throughout Thracia until the wealthy senator Crassus brutally defeated them and crucified thousands along the road towards Rome. With the death of the Pharaoh Ptolemy and Queen Cleopatra, the Ptolemaic dynasty had fallen. With Rome finally at peace and under strong leadership, Egypt simply became another province ruled by a succession of proconsuls who cared more about lining their own pockets than improving the lives of Egyptians. Over the years, several attempts were made to claw back self-governance for Egypt, but time and again, Rome struck down all dissent. With the death of Cleopatra and under the steady guidance of Lunya, Nazarmenes once more became a peaceful and prosperous part of Africa Proconsularis, firmly aligned with Rome. As the eldest and most respected elder of the Berber tribes, Lunya became a singular figure of leadership and respect in the region. She was said to be more than 100 years old when she died. After traveling all across Africa for many years, going wherever her instincts took her, Raya eventually returned to Memphis and to the service of Tener at the Temple of Ubasti. When her mentor passed away, Raya naturally assumed the mantle as High Priestess of the Cat Goddess. Though the old faith was dwindling, she was greatly beloved by many, and her temple prospered, always home to many, many, many cats. With Diwydiachus once more assuming rulership of the Aedui, the tribe maintained a strong alliance with Rome, and through it, they greatly prospered. With the aid of the Aedui, Gallia slowly unified under Roman rule, and civilization soon began to creep into those lands in the form of paved roads, aqueducts, and fortified Roman towns. In his old age, did the Druid ever regret hastening the absorption and suppression of his own faith and culture? We will never know. The once proud and strong Arwerni were greatly reduced by the defeat of Vercingetorix, but his survival gave them hope. His will to make war upon Rome had been crushed, but he remained a strong figure of leadership among his people, even despite his failures. With his guidance, the tribes of Gallia remained unified and somewhat at peace, and vestiges of their culture and traditions survived their gradual subjugation under Rome. In this work, I have done my best to recount the history of this fascinating period, truthfully and accurately. As I have scoured the sources and spoken to many who claimed to have heard the story from someone who was there at the time, one thing that has stood out to me is the pivotal moments along the way where our story could have turned out very differently. In her darkest moods, the savior of Rome must have wondered if there was anything she could have done differently to save her friends. Perhaps if she had struck down Vitellius Lurko on that stage, or if she had gone so far as to bring her legion across the Rubicon, none of her companions would have had to die. But for those of us left to live in a peaceful and strong republic, what transpired seems like the best possible outcome. Our republic was saved, and the villain, Vitellius Lurko, was brought to justice. One should always take care when second-guessing historical figures with the benefit of hindsight. Here in the present, there will never truly be a way for you to know how you might have acted if you had lived in the past. Nor can you ever be certain how history will remember you.